Mahatma Gandhi is undoubtedly one of the most influential political figures of the 20th century and a one-of-a-kind revolutionary. While the world was witnessing a century of revolutions, including the communist, fascist, socialist, nationalist revolutions triggered on hate and violence, Mahatma Gandhi introduced to the world a new form of revolution based on the concept of ahimsa or non-violence. A man with vast experience, having worked in 3 different continents and having managed over 5 careers, including that of a barrister, a thought leader, a political reformer, a freedom fighter, and a prolific writer, Mahatma Gandhi offers a lot of timeless lessons to us youngsters. In our modern-day world, wrought with religious fanaticism, communal violence, casteism, and authoritarian regimes, Gandhi's concept of the Satyagraha or the soul force is something to revisit. On 9/11/1906, when Gandhi started his Satyagraha in South Africa, it was an unconventional path to have followed, while his contemporaries triggered revolutions based upon hatred. His definition of Satyagraha or soul force, the theory and practice of non-violent resistance to unjust authority, is his most seminal contribution to the theory of revolution. According to Gandhi, Satyagraha is a soul force, pure and simple, and whenever and to whatever extent there is room for the use of arms and physical force, there too and to that extent, there is so much less possibility for soul force. And it was this very concept that gained as Indians our independence from our oppressors, the British. Gandhi's methods of the soul force has inspired several world leaders, including Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Aung San Suu Kyi, Lech Walesa, and several movements within our own country, including the Chipko movement in the 1970s. As his biographer, Ram Guha, puts it, non-violent resistance to the arbitrary use of power is one manifestation of Gandhi's legacy in the India today. Pascal Alan Nasrith, the author of Gandhi, the soul force warrior, aptly mentions how Gandhi revolutionized revolution and spiritualized it. His leadership skills transcend all boundaries, and he was crucial in bringing together the masses of India against the British rule. One particular highlight of this can be seen during the non-cooperation movement when he made the announcement for the Tilak Swaraj Fund with a target of raising 1 crore rupees, a massive amount of sum during those days. Instead of seeking huge sums of money from philanthropists, he made it clear that the maximum contribution that a person can give was 4 annas, and hence the members of the Indian National Congress were asked to visit all the people in the countryside, deliver the message of Gandhi's Swaraj to each person, and make them join the Indian national movement against the British. In a time when social media never existed, it is extremely commendable how he made this huge achievement and brought the whole nation together. Of course, he was not alone. There were a lot of other leaders involved too. But his direction at every stage was extremely crucial. Gandhi proclaimed that non-violence is the first article of his faith and the last article of his creed. And he always stood for it and remained true to his words. In fact, in 1922, when his followers in Chauri Chaura set the police station ablaze, he immediately called for a halt to the non-cooperation movement because it went against his fundamental beliefs in non-violence. During the eve of independence, when the whole nation was celebrating and Jawaharlal Nehru gave his monumental speech, The Tryst with Destiny, Mahatma Gandhi was never part of the celebrations. He was praying and fasting because he knew that partition came at a huge cost and would sow the seeds of communal tensions in the upcoming future, which holds true to this day. Most importantly, in a country that is witnessing increasing cases of communal violence and hatred, Gandhi's message of truth and ahimsa needs to be recalled from time to time. He transcended Hinduism, pushed for interfaith dialogue, and was a prophet of interfaith understanding. His message was simple. If you're a Hindu, make your friend who is a Christian a better Christian. And if you're a Christian, make your friend who is a Hindu a better Hindu. In this world, while the idea seems too simple, we realize that it's extremely difficult to implement it, which is why we are seeing a lot of communal violence around us. It is extremely important for us to revisit his lessons and the great learnings he has got to offer us, to to ensure that we can free our country from the perils of poverty, communalism, corruption, and other evils. But sadly, instead of applying his learnings, we have reduced him to a picture on the wall who is garlanded twice every year. And that could be the very reason why, even after 7 decades of independence, the question still arises, are we really free? To conclude, I borrow a few lines from Ram Guha's book, Gandhi, The Years That Changed the World, in which the author mentions how a friend of Gandhi remarks that Gandhi is a problem. To rulers and governors, he is a thorn in their side. To logicians, he is a fool. To economists, he is a hopeless ignoramus. To materialists, he is a dreamer. To communists, he is a drag on the wheel. To constitutionalists, he represents rank revolution. To this list, we might add, to Muslim leaders, he was a communal Hindu. To Hindu extremists, he was a notorious appeaser of the Muslims. To the untouchables, he appeared a defender of high caste orthodoxy. To the Brahmin, he was a reformer in too much of a hurry. While many of these arguments for and against Gandhi keep prevailing in our day-to-day discussions, Gandhi's charisma and legacy continues to live on. He was no man without faults, but the interesting thing about Gandhi was he was extremely willing to change and evolve over time, and more importantly, engage in conversations and dialogue with the public, unlike the politicians of our times. He is indeed and undoubtedly the most important and inspirational political figure of the 20th century who revolutionized revolution and spiritualized it. Thank you.